Hi, welcome to Daydreams of Quilts on YouTube. Today we're making the fourth block in the Frozen Treats block series, and it's this double scoop ice cream cone block. So head to my blog. There is a free PDF download there, and you can download the pattern and cut out all your pieces. You need 2 scoops of ice cream and the cone and background fabric. And the first thing we're going to do is draw a diagonal line on the back of each of the background squares. So I am going to draw a line on the back of each one and then put it in the corners of our ice cream scoops. So the green scoop is going to have 4 corner squares, and the pink scoop is going to have 2. And I'm just feeling my fabric here because I have linen fabric and there's one side that's smoother than the other, so I like the smooth side to be the side that is on the front of the block. So I'm just putting that line on with a pencil. This is a ceramic lead pencil specifically for drawing on fabric, so it makes it a little bit easier to draw because it doesn't catch and pull on the fabric. So there's all of our squares in their corners, so we're ready to go sew them. And we're going to sew directly on that pencil line on each of those squares. And then we'll trim a 1/4 inch from that stitch line and flip those corners out and press them. But this is an easy way to make something look rounded in a block without actually having to do curved piecing. So that's why I'm using this technique. And usually, have you noticed, well, not always, but sometimes on a double scoop cone, the bottom scoop is a lot bigger than the top scoop. So that's why these ones are different sizes, just to make it a little bit different from everything else that's already out there. And this block finishes at 4 inches by 10 inches, but if you want to make it larger, you could add a 2.5 inch strip on either the top or the bottom to make it work with 12-inch blocks. Okay, so I'm getting all those corners sewn on. And then normally when I'm trimming, I just put the 1/4 inch line on my clear ruler right on the stitch line and trim it with a rotary cutter, but just to speed things up here, I'm just going to use my fabric scissors and eyeball it for a 1/4 inch from the seam. So we'll get those all trimmed. And then I'll iron them to flip those corners out and just press the seam towards the corners. And here they are pressed with the seam allowance going towards the corners. And now we can do our ice cream cone. So we're going to sew a background strip on either side of our cone square. And I'm using Essex yarn dyed linens for this part of the block, and the scoops are made with Liberty Tana lawn fabrics from Liberty of London. I'll just press those seams in one direction, and then we'll put the top of the cone across the top. And then to make this look more ice cream cone like, when it's in the actual quilt and it's time to quilt it, I would put little hash marks on the cone to make it look like an ice cream cone, like little cross hatches in the quilting. And here I just messed up my seam a little bit, so I'm just redoing it. And getting that pressed at the iron. And there it is. So now we can just sew our ice cream scoops on top of the cone. So big scoop on the bottom. And it doesn't have the corners in the bottom because it's mashed into the top of the cone. And then the next scoop is going on top. And then we can press our seams. I press the bottom seam up towards the bigger scoop, and I press the top scoop towards the bigger scoop, I believe. And that's our finished block. So thank you for sewing along with me today. I hope you have a nice collection of frozen treat blocks to put into a table runner or a whole quilt top. Here is the whole collection of them together, and you can find these on my YouTube channel, and all the PDF download patterns are on my blog. See you next time.